All right. All right. Happy Tuesday, everyone. We're going to get started in another 30 seconds or so just to see if we get any more people logged on before we get started. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday before Thanksgiving. All right. Well, I expect we may have a smaller crowd than regularly because of Thanksgiving week. But thank you so much for those that are joining us today. We appreciate your time, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So, welcome to Tool Time Tuesday. I'm Andrea Young. I'm ECAC's communications lead. And today we have Aimee and Beverly with us, and I'm going to hand it right over to Beverly Roberts, ECAC's Family Engagement Manager, to talk a little bit more about family engagement and then introduce our guest today.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us for our final Tool Time Tuesday for Family Engagement Month. If you have not signed on to the Family Engagement Month proclamation, please take a moment and visit our Family Engagement Month webpage and show your support for families and schools. Also, be sure to check out our Family Engagement Month activity calendars because those resources are relevant all year long. You also have until November 31st to submit a note of appreciation for a teacher or staff member. And as I said, once again, you can find that information on the Family Engagement Month webpage. But today, I am pleased to introduce to you Aimee Allen from NC Child, and she's going to be sharing information on advocating in your community. She'll tell you a little bit about herself and NC Child. Aimee, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. I'm just going to share my screen. Let's see. Can you guys see? See it?
Yes, looks good.
Okay, perfect. So my name is Aimee Allen. I'm the senior manager of, oops, did I stop that? I'm the senior manager of parent and family engagement with NC Child, and it's a pleasure. Thank you, Beverly and Andrea, for having me here today. We're going to talk about how to advocate in your own backyard, i.e. your community. So what is advocacy? Advocacy is supporting a cause that you believe in, right straight from Merriam-Webster's dictionary. It involves supporting or against for a cause or policy or an idea. Advocacy involves raising awareness, influencing decisions, and creating action. So with NC Child, I'll tell you a little bit about NC Child in 1 minute. We look at advocacy in a two-pronged approach. One way is administrative advocacy, how to change paperwork, how to change something really simple that will make the lives of the consumers so much better. The other way is policy advocacy. So if you're dealing with a certain policy ask, it's important to do a strategy, a plan on how to advance advocacy through policy. So when we start our journey with advocacy, and everybody on this call right now are advocates. You have been engaged with ECAC to advocate for your children, your family, your community, the state. So you spend a lot of time educating yourselves and preparing how you would want to approach an issue. You need to develop your skills. So those soft skills like public speaking, how to engage in others, how to be positive. We at NC Child like to do a bipartisan. So we're not a Republican or a Democrat type of organization. We just work together whoever can get our needs met through the power of their position. And then we engage and take action with people. So we talk to those legislators, talk to those county commissioners. You know, a lot of people think all government starts at the federal level, and it's right there down in your community. Down, you talking to a friend at a soda shop or in the backyard, it's how you engage with those people and build those relationships. So when you want to make change, building relationship is a very great place to start. So NC Child has worked tirelessly for over 40 years for children and families across North Carolina. As a whole, NC Child was instrumental in expanding Medicaid, which we all were excited about. It took 10 years to do that. I don't know if I can do anything in 10 years. And now we're shifting the focus to continue how to preserve and protect that program. The other thing that one of our other wins was we led to improvement to state lead poisoning prevention programs. So getting folks aware that of lead in their system that could be harmful to children. So we led the way on the prevention programs that went to DHHS. So right now, NC Child is working on a lot of initiatives. We're currently advocating for better mental health care for all children through our Early Well Collaborative. Early Well is trying to improve social emotional health for children 0 to 8 who are in school. The caregivers need to have some support. Teachers need support. So how can we preserve that really sweet childhood that most of the developing years are birth to 5? Right? And so we're trying to develop programs and encourage programs and advocate for programs that will support young children. One other thing that we are working on is a suicide prevention program that is called the Jason Flatt Act. It has passed through the House or passed through the Senate. Now we're waiting for the House to say yay or nay. Jason Flatt was a young boy who took his own life at age 16, and his father, Clark Flatt, out of Tennessee, has started this foundation. So it's giving educators a CEU credits to take a module course every year for their mental health certificates to fulfill that. It doesn't cost the state any money. It's 2 hours out of a teacher's time. We know that teachers are overwhelmed. We know that that's a lot to ask, but folks that have already taken that class feel like it's been very positive for them. So if you need any other information about the Jason Flatt Act, please let us know. But we're hoping that that's going to get through in the next legislative year. 22 states have already passed this act. So, and they all surround North Carolina. So let's all be engaged in doing that. One other thing is that we're working on is investing in childcare. And childcare, we know, has gotten so expensive, so out of the reach for parents. And we've developed a new program called NC Excel, which is working with business leaders of how to figure out how we can share the cost and the burden of childcare. North Carolina is losing so much money in economic revenue because parents are coming out of the workforce because they can't afford childcare. If a parent is working, a job that's not regular schedule hours, you can't find childcare for a second shift, so you have to make lots of different sacrifices for your child. So we're working with business leaders on how to create solutions for childcare and how to support those teachers in that childcare space. There's some teachers who work in early childhood education that can't even get their child into care. So that's always been an issue for some of those folks. And finally, preserving Medicaid. We know that Medicaid is a godsend to families who have a child with a disability or just cannot afford regular health insurance. So preserving that, they are making some strides in the state, but just continuing that fight. And I've been quick. So I'm going to show a video about educating how to be an advocate. And I don't know why this is not showing up. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Let me stop my share really quick and I'll figure it out. Sorry about that, guys. If there's any questions that you might have, go ahead and throw them in the chat. I'm happy to answer them. Let me go back and find this video. I'm sorry it didn't attach.
With schizophrenia, it can feel like your symptoms decide.
Okay. Um, uh-oh. Can you guys see my screen with the TED Talk on it?
No, we see you.
You could just see me. Okay. I am so sorry. Hmm.
We certainly understand technology challenges, so you no use to be sorry. I've
Yeah,
done that.
no.
If you're not able to share it, you could put the link in the comments and I can try myself.
That is true. There you go. And this is just a video that would share a TED Talk. I love TED Talks. I don't know if anybody else does, but I love them. And talking about advocacy in 5 steps.
Can you see that?
Yes, ma'am.
And I have no volume though. Ah, here we go.
I'm not able to hear it.
Yeah, we don't have the volume.
Oh, you don't? I can hear it, so I'm not sure why you can't hear it.
You can't hear it.
Oh. Isn't he handsome? I'm wondering if you can link it just when you're playing it on the webinar, that you do the volume, like expand it.
I'm not sure because I can hear it when I play it. I don't know why you can't hear it.
Well, I guess we can put the link into our chat if we can't do it, and encourage folks to take a look at it.
Okay.
I just shared it to everybody. Sorry about that. I don't know why
We'll try it
I couldn't
again.
get it either.
Second. Hold on 1 second. I need to try it again.
You have to make sure you check the box, share sound before sharing.
Yeah. Oh, man. It was a really good video too. I told you I'm not an expert. Everybody give me a little bit of grace on that.
You've got my grace. Like I said, I've been there, done that many times.
All right, I clicked the button. Let me know if you can hear this.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Are we obliged to advocate? Whether you feel you can or you can't, you could or you should, I have 5 steps to guide you through your advocacy journey. 1, lock down those motivations. Advocacy at the core is a deeply embedded sense of purpose. For it's defined by an act that aims to influence the decisions within social, economic, and political systems and institutions. No small act. And if done right, it's a life's work. 2, establish some role models. Tanya Hash is an Australian rules football executive. However, she wants to see Aboriginal people represented in the Australian Constitution. Malala Yousafzai was shot in the head at 15 years old going to school. She lived to receive the Nobel Prize. Elon Musk wants to build a city of 1 million people on Mars, while Brian Stevenson represents young black men, young black boys in America's criminal justice system. Products of mass incarceration on an astronomical scale, similar to the incarceration rates of Aboriginal males in Australia. Brian's grandmother was born a slave, yet Rosa Parks told him that his life's work was gonna make him tired, tired, tired. 3, understand your historical context. My grandfather took my mother to sit-ins in Chicago in the 1960s. If you're not familiar with sit-ins, that's where a group of people will go to a place like a restaurant or a cafe or a library and sit, hoping to be served, usually humiliated and unceremoniously shown the door, and potentially arrested. My father was killed in police custody in 1987. I was 8 years old, and he was unarmed. My stepfather spent 30 years in a major American corporation, marginalized in middle management, dutifully providing for a middle-class family in middle America. And to me, I represent the first generation born with the entitlements of civil liberties that we all understand as basic human rights: voting, education, access to crappy diner food. Focus, that's number 4. Focus those benefits of your historical context. Focus those beliefs and those observations. Now, I'm a sports administrator, and I do believe in the power of sport as a viable and extremely constructive tool for social, political, and economic engagement. You? What do you believe in? Now, we can sit back and let those beliefs simmer, or we could challenge them. I prefer to sit back. Let you reveal yourself. Let your sincerities surface, and let the venom bubble over if that's the case. And as far as observations, whether it's a right or a privilege or a choice or an obligation, it doesn't really matter. It's all about perception. Because what's a right up close can be perceived as a privilege from afar. Number 5, a way forward. I stood on the shoulders of a middle manager and I saw a way. I couldn't stomach another 50 years for an incremental step forward. Now, some of you are different. You're probably more selfless. You could commit your life for minimum recognition, minimum reward, operating under common misconceptions and distorted perceptions. Are we obligated to advocate? I don't know. But hopefully now we understand how to. You lock in those motivations, make them unshakable. You establish some role models or become one yourself. You understand your historical context and the histories of people around you. You focus all those beliefs and all those observations to push a way forward. More simply put, as an advocate, first, you take a step in, and then you take a few steps back, and then you step up. Now, many of you, you may not need anyone to speak up for you. You may not need anyone to understand your perspective. But if you do, and you can't find the words, you don't have the voice, tell me about it. Tell somebody, because we're all advocates. Thank you.
Okay. But back to our Zoom. Thank you so much. I hope that means a lot, that meant a lot to you guys. I love that video, and it just demonstrates that we're all advocates, no matter where our background is, our neighborhood, the places that we live, we can all be part of that advocacy. And I did see resources for I did see a question in the question box. The theory of change is one that we're exploring of how to okay, go ahead, Andrea. Do you want to answer that, or did you have an idea?
Oh, no, sorry. I was just clicking on it to say that we were going to answer it.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. The theory of change is really interesting, and I do have a resource. I could send that over to Beverly and Andrea, and they can share that out with the last bits of the with the recording, because it's something that you have to have a group to buy into, and then moving your mindset to a change. So I will write that down and send that over to Andrea and Beverly. Change. And one thing I'd like to add with a couple more minutes left, we do have a parent advisory council that has been operating since 2019, working on these advocacy skills. So every year we ask families to apply. I don't know if anybody's on our NC Child newsletter, but we would love for you guys to be volunteers with us. There is that opportunity to volunteer with different events, different places across the state that we're presenting, to also start your advocacy journey with NC Child and also ECAC. So I appreciate you guys, and I'll turn it over to Andrea.
Great. Thank you so much, Aimee. And if you want to share that information about how, if they are interested in being on the board, we can include that with the information we send out too. Yeah, great. Thank you so much, Aimee. That video was really great. To end today, of course, if you have any more questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I'm going to launch 2 quick polls. Our first one, we're trying to see if our interpretation services are being used. So I'm going to launch that one real quick. It's 2 short questions. If everyone can complete that, if you used our service or if you did not use our service today, that is all we're looking for. So that one you should be able to see. Can you see that now, Beverly, on your end, and Aimee? Okay. If everyone can click those, that would be really helpful. And then I also will launch our evaluation poll, which are grants that we work on require that we report back that what we're doing is of quality. So once this one ends, we just get a couple people to fill that out. I will launch the other one. And again, we appreciate your time today. I don't think I can launch 2 polls at a time, but I might. I don't think I can.
Well, Andrew, while we're waiting to launch the poll, I was just going to say I was really, it really hit me in the TED Talk when they talked about the historical context. Because when I think about the journey for families of children with disabilities and how those families had to advocate and literally fight for rights of children with disabilities. So we have some role models in terms to look back on where we have been, where we are, and where we hope to go, and how we can help to advocate for that piece.
Great,
We all
thank you.
are on top of those other people who've done it before us, and we're just trying to improve the services for families.
Yeah, because I can remember being a young mom and thinking, what would it be like when Charles was an adult? And I will honestly say we have not come as far as I had hoped. But so we've got some challenges in the future, but I always count on parents. I bet on parents.
I added a link in the chat about the theory of change. It's kind of setting a standard. So it's from the Center of Theory for Change. So hopefully that would be a good resource for folks to go to. And then also, and my name. I'll add my email if anybody wants to reach out to me about family programming. While we don't provide direct service, in some senses, we do have opportunity to engage with lunch and learns, other educational opportunities, and would love to see some of your folks. I'm privileged to be here today, and thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, and Aimee, there was one question in the chat. Who are your role models with respect to policy advocacy?
I appreciate those people that are not on the news or the television, those people who are doing quiet things in their community, who try to make their own changes. People who are trying to select solution-based change for families. We know we all can't do it by ourselves. So there's a lot of advocacy groups that I'm involved in that would provide, and I'm mostly for young children. So those groups that are so important for young children, those teachers, those educators who are doing great things every day in our community. That's one of my role models, and just those everyday people. How about you, Beverly?
When I think about role models, I go back to thinking about when I was a senior in high school and thinking about the prom and thinking about where I was going to go to school and all of those kinds of things, not knowing that there were parents out there fighting for the rights of children with special needs for a child, for me, that had not been born. So for me, the role models are those everyday parents who are out there fighting for their child and for others. And some of those parents who were fighting for me in 1975, and I didn't even know it, their children did not get all of those benefits. So I think about those parents who gave their all to help those parents like me who didn't even know that that was going to be my journey. And I think, parents, we never know some of the little things that we do that we think are little in advocating for our children, how we're a role model for other folks. So It just comes full circle.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Beverly and Aimee, for being with us today. I do want to let everyone know that next week we will have a Tool Time Tuesday. It's December already. We will in December just be having 2 tool times on the first 2 Tuesdays of the month, on the 2nd and the 9th, I believe are the dates. So on the 2nd, we will be talking with Anastasia Newton, one of our ECAC parent educators, and she'll be talking about the art of support, simple crafts that build big skills, which is very relevant to the holiday season. And she's going to have some great ideas on everyday items that can be powerful learning tools for our complex kiddos. So please join us on next Tuesday. The email to register for Tool Time should be coming out by tomorrow. So look for that if you are interested in joining us. And I'm going to close our poll.
Andrew, if I
Again.
could say one last thing.
Sure.
I just want to thank everybody for joining us today. And I just kind of on a personal note want to say that this is my last Tool Time Tuesday. I will be retiring in January. So I will be on the other side. I will be joining as a participant, but just want to thank you all. I have been with ECAC for almost 35 years. So it is going to be a transition. So I just appreciate you all hanging with us, and have a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving.
Great. Thank you. I did just post that link to the person that asked for that, but we will be sending it out as well. So thank you, everyone, again. Happy Thanksgiving and have a great week ahead.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.